Hi, how's it going? I'm going to do a short tutorial on how to get started using TruFont and developing for TruFont. This is my first try at doing a YouTube programming tutorial, so please bear with me. The soundtrack is from Stardew Valley, which is my favorite game. It's a game all about working hard, but automating your work. A lot of what you're doing is like getting better materials to build better sprinklers, so you don't have to do it all manually. And I think it's like a beautiful game, and it's perfect for programming. So we're going to be working with TruFont today. TruFont is a cross-platform, modern Python 3 Qt open source font editor, which is something I think is awesome. We have the TruFont repository here, and I've forked it into my own GitHub. I'll be using VS Code as a text editor. I usually use Vim, but I kind of switch back between Vim and VS Code, and VS Code's a little bit better for doing live streaming. So here we go. I'm in my projects folder, and the first thing I want to do is set up a Python 3 virtual environment. And when you're new to programming in Python, it can be a little confusing because there's lots of different virtual environments, and like some are like kind of like half deprecated but not like totally deprecated. But I get the sense the general best practice for Python 3 development is to use venv. So in my projects folder, using the M flag, venv. The M flag means we're running this as a module and not a script. It can be a little confusing, but that's what it means. You're running it as a module, not a script. Python 3. Here we go. So that made this directory. You can see there's a bunch of stuff in there. And the next thing we're going to want to do is to activate it. And so what the virtual environment does is it lets us install all our Python modules in an isolated area, so we don't have to like sudo install them. They won't conflict with other Python projects we're working on. It kind of just keeps everything in like one neat package, so you can really like keep control of like the versions of all your different dependencies. So the one tricky thing is like sometimes I'm using Bash right now, but sometimes I use Fish, which is a different shell. And a good thing to know is like if you are using Fish or ZSH or something, like the command to activate venv can be slightly different. So if you're using Fish and this isn't working, that's why. But Fish is a little, I don't like doing Fish for recording videos. It makes it a little too complicated, so I'm going to switch back to Bash. All right, so now I'm in my projects folder. I'm going to do source. env. And you can see, so now we have the TruFont virtual environment marker on the side of the command prompt, letting us know that our virtual environment has been activated. And so once we get TruFont installed this way, you'll need to be in the virtual environment to run TruFont. So if you don't have the virtual environment activated and you run TruFont, nothing will happen. And you can deactivate it. You just type deactivate. Virtual environment deactivated. Reactivate it. Okay. Cool. So the next thing we want to do is up here you can just fork TruFont. I've done that. I've forked it to my own GitHub. And we're going to want to bring that to our local computer so that we can work on it locally and then push to our fork. And if we make some good improvements, we can submit a pull request to the upstream TruFont. So right now we're going to set that up. And all this, I'm basically just covering exactly the setup instructions that are all outlined here. All right. So I want to, for me, it makes sense to clone this just right in the root directory of the tf-venv directory. So I'm going to change directory. Say. And one thing I should note is I'm using there's two different ways you can clone. You can clone with an SSH key or HTTPS. I'm using an SSH key, but if you're using HTTPS, you can just switch it here, and it's basically the same. It just, for me, it's a little bit easier to use the SSH key. It's a little trickier to. This is something that like a lot of programming is this way, where it's tricky to set up, but once you set it up, it's easier. And that's kind of what SSH is here. Okay. I'm gonna do get clone and .com. All right, cloning TruFont. Okay, so now we have the TruFont directory there. We can change directory into TruFont. Okay. If I do get status, it'll tell me we're on branch master. Branch is up to date with origin master. Nothing to commit. Working directory clean. Cool. So now we want to add the remote, which is let's see. So if we do, like right now we do okay, remote show. So we're only tracking the origin, which is our fork. we want to be tracking the upstream, which is TruFont/TruFont. So to do that, I'm going to do git Okay, so git remote add upstream git at github.com, TruFont to true remote. And now if we do git remote show, yay, origin and upstream. So now we can do, like, we want to make sure that, I already did this last night, so it's not actually going to do anything, but we want to make sure that our fork is up to date with the upstream project. So we'll just do git fetch upstream. And so the difference between, like, you can do like a rebase and a merge to, like, in Git to, like, combine two separate branches of a thing. Rebase is similar to merge, but it leaves, like, a little bit cleaner work history. So that's we're doing that. Base upstream master. Okay. And so if we did pull things in from upstream master, that would this would be a good time we could push that to origin, but we didn't actually change anything, so I'm not going to push it to origin. But that's all covered in the documentation. So now, let's see, if we do pip list, we can see these are the things we have installed. Pip is installed, it's out of date. Setup tools, package resources. So we don't have any, like, extra modules installed. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade. Install. All right. We've upgraded pip. So now if you look in the TruFont directory, there is this requirements.txt file. This is kind of fun. I love doing this. I'm using the VS Code editor, but a lot of times I'll run Vim in the terminal in VS Code, which I think is kind of silly. Anyway, yeah, these are all the dependencies. And we want to install these, so we can do pip pip install upgrade. I really don't know what the R flag is. I'm sorry. I'm just going to do it. Requirements.txt. All right, so here we go, pip list. We got all our dependencies installed. And if you really, to really get into TruFont development, you have to go look at all these dependencies and like learn about them. Like the really important ones are like font tools, defcon qt, PyQt, but mainly like font tools and defcon are like the big ones where it's like you really need to dig into those and like understand what's going on. To like UFO extractor, a lot of these are really important to look at. Font tools is super cool. Defcon. Font technology is awesome. It's gonna get even awesomer when it's all Linux free software stuff, but it's already pretty cool. Let's see. So now, let's see. I guess now the best thing to do, so we've got all our dependencies, we could probably install TruFont. So we would do pip what did I do wrong? Did I? Huh. Oh, I put the... Yeah, I see what I did. Put the little double flag thing on install. That's okay. I've really come to terms, I am a mediocre to amateur programmer at best, and I've just accepted that. Okay. So now TruFont is installed. I think we can run TruFont. So we just type TruFont. And we have a font editor. Isn't that awesome? TruFont uses PyQt, which is Qt is like a cross-platform graphical user interface framework. It has some really confusing like licensing stuff. Like it's a commercial product, but you can use it for free software, but you have to it has to be under the GPL. Like I don't think you can do like an MIT licensed Qt program, which is kind of frustrating because the main programming project I want to work on this year is like porting Drawbot to be cross-platform, and it makes it kind of confusing because like Drawbot is like BSD licensed, and I think because so like in the proprietary font editor world, there's things like font editors like RoboFont and Glyphs and Drawbot, and RoboFont has really nice integration with Drawbot. And Drawbot's like a simple like Python drawing and typesetting and animation tool set. And so I think ideally what would happen with TruFont would be it would have Drawbot would get ported to be cross-platform, and then TruFont would integrate with Drawbot the same way RoboFont integrates with Drawbot. Like you can have like RoboFont has like this like built-in Drawbot module. But it's confusing because like Drawbot is BSD licensed and Qt free software can only be GPL licensed. So that's something I'm going to work on. I'm trying to write a blog post about it, but okay. So yeah, this is really cool. This is a cross-platform font editor. Got our drawing tools. We've got our ruler tools. We've got there's this cool, I haven't drawn any glyphs yet, but there's like a cool like text typing feature which is similar to what Glyphs has, which is really nice. We've got our knife tool. You just slice that. So this is super cool. I've always been frustrated with like the font editors that exist, and like I've always like doing font editing on, like I've used FontForge. You see I've got it down here. I could actually kind of launch it for now. But so for a long time, like FontForge has been the cross-platform font editing tool, and I've used this for a while, and it's gotten a lot better recently. But like RoboFont and Glyphs have always just been like a little bit more productive for me, and I've always like designing fonts is like really hard work. And you know, if the software is kind of working against you, it can destroy your motivation. And so I never really took to FontForge. Okay. So kind of the point of this video is just to get you started like making a new feature or editing TruFont. So I think for the next video I do, I want to add a simple box drawing tool over here where it's like if you want to, RoboFont has this as a module that's really nice, where you can actually, I think you hold a hotkey and it switches to be a circle. But basically, like we'll make a really simple tool for drawing a box. But before we get to that, I just want to do like a really simple change. And I was just kind of digging through the code, and I was like, what is something that's like a hello world of like editing font or editing TruFont? And I didn't like this, like the pink ruler for some reason. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to go in and change the pink ruler. Close without saving. So to make a change, instead of just making it on the master branch, I'm going to, I want to make a new branch that's separate from master. And So to do that, I'm going to do get out. Okay, so get checkout branch my cool new feature. This is a little confusing because there isn't a branch called my cool new feature, but by doing this checkout, we create it. And it's confusing because it doesn't really say created. I think you could do like get branch list. No, I don't know. I forget how to list branches. Whatever. Okay, so so if we do get status, we'll see we're like on branch my cool new feature. All right, so let's dig into TruFont. You'll see here we've got library. And this is the reason usually if I'm working on like something where I'm not switching files a lot or like digging through a new code base, I'll use Vim, but I find like text editors like Atom or VS Code are really good for a code base that you didn't write yourself and you're just digging into it. You can kind of move a little bit quicker. There's like a little bit quicker search functions. Let's see. So it's pretty well organized. There's let's see. I think so here we've got and I think this is really nice how this is set up. So it's like you've got your drawing tools folder, you've got all your different drawing tools. So like once TruFont is starting to be used by like people doing like really serious type design work, like you can just basically like design your own toolkit because the tools are just these Python files, and you could have a tool like the thing I really want to do is like doing like machine learning training for like having it like watch what you're doing. You could do I want to do like all kinds of like figuring out all my own tools for like automating type design, making it faster. But that's going to be in the future. I got to figure out how to make the box tool first. Okay, so here we've got the ruler tool. And you can see this is I think they're using this like Qt painter thing to actually like draw the icon, which is kind of cool. I need to figure out like how to edit these. That's something I haven't looked into yet. This is really interesting. I think I mentioned that I was going to do this on the issues. You can changing the shortcuts is really easy, but I think this is kind of hacky, and this is not how the shortcuts are going to eventually be done. But if you don't like the shortcuts, like the current state of TruFont, it's really easy. Let me run TruFont real quick. I'm sure whoever wrote this code, I'm sure if they watch this, they'll be embarrassed by this because this could definitely be done better. But okay. So we have like our different hotkeys. So the ruler's hotkey is L. So I could be drawing like this. So then hit L. Yay, I have my ruler. One thing, it took me forever to figure this out. In this recent versions of TruFont, to see the coordinates of points, you have to be in ruler mode, which can be a little weird. I like to see the coordinates all the time, so that might be like a change I'll make in my own branch. Let's see. Okay, so you can see that we can change the ruler short key. So I want to change the color of the ruler. It's this pink color right now. Close without saving. And here we go. So we got color, hue color, and we changed the ruler color. It's bright red now. Pretty cool, huh? So that's going to be the end of this video. Sorry for it is pretty amateur. This is the first time I've done this. I'm going to try to get better. But for the next one, I'm going to try to... The next one's going to be a bit longer. I'm going to try to figure out how to make a new brush that we can create squares and rectangles with. So thanks for watching. Bye.